Hey guys, Adam here with AmericanTrucks.com, and today we're taking a closer look at installing and of course dyno testing the 5-star SF4 X4 Power Flash Tuner by SCT with 3 custom tunes available for an 11 to 14 5-liter F150. Now we've got our 1350 strapped down to the dyno here right next to me. We're going to do our pulls on this truck in 3rd gear. We've got 93 octane in the tank. Before we jump into the details of the 5-star tunes and the X4 here, what do you say we take a look at the dyno graph? All right, so we strapped our 1350 down to the dyno, of course, to establish a baseline run. We have 93 octane in the tank. We also have 295 70/18 tires, so the larger wheels and tires are definitely worth mentioning, bone stock otherwise. We established that baseline run, walked away with 274 horsepower, 295 pound-feet of torque at the rear wheels in 3rd gear, ran it under the same conditions with our 93 tune from 5-star in place, walked away with 296 horsepower, 322 pound-feet of torque at the rear wheels, good for peak gains of about 22 horsepower and 27 torque at the rear. Now those numbers alone on a simple 93 octane tune are pretty impressive. The curve gains get even better though. Under the curve, we're seeing as much as 33 horsepower and 43 pound-feet of torque under the curve at the rear wheels. Now that 43 torque we're seeing at low to mid range right around 4,000 RPMs, which is going to make a huge difference to drivability, especially with these bigger wheels and tires, which can tend to feel a little bit more sluggish. 33 horsepower we're also seeing at the low to mid range, and if we hadn't hit the speed limiter with our factory tune, I'd imagine we'd be seeing an even bigger horsepower curve at the top end of the RPM band. We're seeing a really big continuous curve going straight across with gains all across the RPM band, which is worth noting here. So at the end of the day, I'm really happy with our 93 tune. Now right out of the box with this thing, you'll have 3 custom tunes available to you from 5-star tuning. You'll have an 87, a 91, and a 93 all-out performance tune or race tune. That 93 tune is going to really maximize performance on your 5.0. The 87 option is good for daily drivers looking to get a little bit more fuel economy out of their truck while making it a little bit more fun out on the road. 5-star alters a number of parameters in the factory tune in order to produce more power and torque, as we just saw on the dyno graph. The results there speak for themselves. It has a really good peak gain and an even more impressive curve gain with both horsepower and torque. We've got really good low-end torque, which will definitely make this truck come alive at the low end. When you start adding things like bigger wheels and tires here, it can start to make that truck feel a little bit more sluggish, so having that low-end torque can go a long way. Now 5-star is going to take, again, a number of things into consideration, such as fuel strategies. The factory tune is a little bit lean in the fuel strategies, and they have moderate delay timers before adding more fuel, especially at wide open throttle, which can be a problem when trying to add more power and torque, especially at the top end. 5-star safely calibrates that in a way that adds a little bit more fuel at the top end, which is going to net more power. They're also going to take into consideration the drive-by-wire delay, which is essentially the delay in time between hitting the gas and your throttle body opening up and your truck getting going off the line. Now from the factory, there is a pretty moderate delay there, which means it can make that truck, again, feel a little bit more sluggish. Altering that is going to make it feel like there's a lot more throttle response and acceleration, which will definitely make for a more enjoyable ride. They're going to lock the torque converter sooner and stay locked longer, which can help at cruising speeds, especially on the highway, to net a better fuel economy. They're also going to alter some of the drive modes. The daily driving mode on these trucks from the factory hits 4th to 6th gear pretty quickly, which can also make the truck feel a little bit more sluggish by being at a higher gear at a lower speed. This way, you'll be able to hit each gear a little bit longer and have a firmer shift point, which will get you to 6th gear at a little bit higher of a speed. You're also going to have a more enjoyable tow haul mode. The tow haul mode is going to recalibrate some of those gears in order to give you a little bit more torque in order to have an easier time towing and hauling cargo or a trailer or what have you. Aside from the tunes themselves, you have a number of other features within the device to take advantage of. You'll also be able to take advantage of a DTC code reader. Essentially, the check engine light comes on your truck, you can plug this guy in, read the code, get a description, and clear it right then and there. You can take advantage of the gauges and data log screen. If you're a type of person who likes to monitor engine vitals on the fly, if you like to see things like air-fuel ratio, intake temp, coolant temp, and so many more options, you can do that right here on the device within arm's reach. You have a number of different ways to view each engine parameter, and you can customize them to your liking. You can monitor 1 or 2, or you can monitor up to 8 at one time. You can also view that in portrait or landscape mode, so you have the option to alter that as well. So that's a really good thing to use if you're picking up the windshield mount. SCT has a windshield mount that mounts to the back of this device with pre-cut slots in order to give you a way to view it in arm's reach safely and securely by just attaching it to the windshield. You can also data log. If you're looking to record your vehicle's performance and communicate that back to 5-star for potential revisions, you can do that as well directly on the device and record the parameters that you set up on the gauges screen. You're also going to be able to take advantage of Wi-Fi access. You can wirelessly update software and firmware versions on your SCT device because SCT is often coming out with software updates to keep this guy up to the current standard. You can do that wirelessly with a local Wi-Fi network. Now the device itself is going to come in right around $500 and it's going to get 1 out of 3 wrenches on our difficulty meter. Anybody can pick this up and take care of it in 30 minutes in the driveway at home. I'm going to show you every single step of that process, including how to tune your truck. Then I'll walk you through the features. So what do you say we get started? All right, first things first with the install, you want to grab the harness and your X4 device. You're going to plug in the OBD2 slot into the OBD2 port located under the driver's side dashboard, which is approximately right there in the middle. Once you have that plugged in, the top of this will go straight to the top of the X4 device. We can hop in and get to work. First things first, we got our device plugged in. I'm going to grab my key, put it in the ignition, and I'm not going to start the engine, but I'm going to put it in the run position. From there, from the main menu, I want to jump right into tuning our vehicle, which is from that program vehicle selection on the main menu. So let's jump right into that. You want to hit continue on the street use notice and hit continue to confirm your key is on. All right, from here, you'll be presented with your preloaded and custom tunes. Once you custom tune your vehicle, it will disable your preloaded tune until you return to stock. So you'll see that here. Now, we have our 93 performance tune loaded on the device. You'll have 3 options, however, depending on how many you actually load to your device. You'll have your 87, 91, and 93. Since we're just focusing on 93 performance, that's what we're going with here. So I'm just gonna select that. Special options are available, so you want to hit continue. You can adjust your TPMS settings. We're going to keep those the same. You can adjust rear TPMS. Want to continue on the options. Make sure your key is on. It'll unlock the processor and move into saving your stock file to the device. That way, if you ever want to revert back to the factory tune, it'll be right here on your X4, and you can do so in the same menus. Now that your stock file is saved, it's going to start uploading the selected tune, in our case, the 93 octane option. All right, what you just saw there was it finishing uploading the tune we selected. It'll start clearing your DTCs, getting rid of any check engine lights or anything like that, and then download complete. You can hit done, takes you right back to the main menu. All right, aside from tuning the vehicle, we have a number of other features I want to talk about. So thing number 1 would be the gauges and data log menu from the main menu. You can make sure your key is in the on position and hit continue. What this will basically do is allow you to select a configuration that matches your vehicle. Now we're in a 1350, so we want to find gas 08 and newer. Select that and hit continue just to finalize the configuration you need to start with. From there, it'll load up a number of different parameters that you can monitor on the fly. Now, a default is 2 different gauges, one on the top, one on the bottom. You can see the top one here is control module voltage, bottom is coolant temp. Now, that's good for people who, just want to track those 2 specific things, but if you want to change things up, you can select one. So say we want to change control module voltage, you select it, select item, and then you have this list of parameters you can check on. RPMs, there's a number of air-fuel ratio banks, there's a number of temperature sensors. So we have coolant temp on the bottom. Let's put intake air temp at the top. Select it and hit approve. From there, it changes the top. Now it's monitoring that. If you go to the right here, you can change gauge layout and you can monitor up to 8 at once. So that was only 2. Here's what that 8 looks like. And again, you can go through and change every single one of these individually. You can also record data log, so you can start recording those gauges that you set on the screen to monitor the vehicle's performance and then again communicate it back to your tuner for possible revisions. And then once you have that taken care of, you can hit stop data log and it'll take you right back to the main menu. So that's a really useful thing to have, especially if you have a windshield mount. You can really check on this at arm's reach on the fly. Vehicle functions, read and clear DTC codes. So check engine light comes on, you can read it, get the description, and clear it right then and there to get rid of that light on the dash. Special functions, most people won't touch. There's cam relearn in there. I won't go into details with that, but it is an option there for the guys who need to use it. Vehicle info will give you your VIN number, your ECU strategy code. You'll also get a number of different parameters for your vehicle as well. Device info gives you your device serial number, which is useful for requesting new tunes. You'll also be able to see battery voltage in there, which is super useful as well. You'll also get married status, number of flashes remaining. You'll also get a number of other device info settings. Now, device settings, you can check for updates and you can connect to Wi-Fi. Now, those go hand in hand, so as long as you're in range of a Wi-Fi network, you can connect there and then check for updates for software and firmware. Display, obviously, you can change the brightness. It auto-corrects to day and night modes as well. You can change the orientation from portrait to landscape. There's a couple of different themes to personalize it to your own touch. The other thing worth mentioning here in device settings is startup function. You can have it so as soon as you plug it in and it boots up, it'll go right to the gauges and data log menu instead of the main menu. So if you're connected to a windshield mount or a vent gauge mount or something like that and you want to track this every single day, that's a really useful function, so you don't have to navigate there yourself. All right, and then finally, factory reset, you can hit exit back to the main menu, and that's your export. That's gonna wrap up my review and install for the 5-star SF4 X4 Power Flash Tuner by SCT with 3 custom tunes for your 11 to 14 5.0 F150. Pick yours up right here at AmericanTrucks.com.